Hey guys, welcome. My name is Enkidu, and this is my Bringer of Rain, Wings of Entropy Duelist. So, what makes this character special is you're able to get 73% Fizz block and 55% spell block. For a duelist, for a pure melee character, this is actually quite good, and you're able to get 16k DPS on dual strike and 24k DPS on your other dual strike. This will be your single target, this will be your multi-target. And what makes this great is I could activate Blood Rage because of the Ming's Heart. What Blood Rage does is adds a buff that deals chaos damage over time to you while increasing attack speed and life leech. Killing an enemy grants a frenzy charge. So 16k, activate Blood Rage. That's going to increase my attack speed and my life leech. When I kill an enemy, it's going to give me a frenzy charge. Because of where I went in the tree, I have, I want to say, 2 or 3 additional frenzy charges. So I just end up running around the map really quickly, dual striking everything in view. My block is high enough that 75% of the damage never even comes through to me. What comes through either triggers my Immortal Call and my Curse, which gives me more life and mana leech. I leech through it with the amount of leech that I have from Blood Rage, which at this level is 3.8% on my maximum life. And it's pretty gosh darn tanky. I am mildly susceptible to being one shot. I mean, less than 4,000 life is not considered a large amount of life, but it still just allows you to do a lot of fun things very quickly. And having a nice little, 42% movement speed, it's not a bad amount of agility. The only thing that I'm kind of sad about is I usually Whirling Blades on fast characters like this. It's way more fun than Leap Slamming. But you are unable to Whirling Blades with Wings of Entropy, as they're considered a two-handed weapon, even though you are dual wielding it. It's considered a two-handed weapon, not a two one-handed weapons, like a typical dual wield would. And that's about that. So, I'll take you through the gear here. So we have a 6-link wings. It's pretty nicely rolled. The top physical roll is 120, and that's 117. We have a legacy, a halfway decent legacy Bringer of Rain, 283 armored evasion, 203 life. This gives me more % chance to block and gain an endurance charge on block, which then feeds into my physical reduction and then feeds into the CODT, Enduring Cry, Immortal Call, all that stuff. Corrupted Lazhwar, not corrupted. I mean, I could have got spell block on here, I could have got regular block on here. Both of those would have been a big upgrade for me. The Ming's Heart, which is a reduction of just about, let's call it 250 life, which is nearly nothing to become completely immune to chaos and run Blood Rage. That's a trade-off just about any character will take, right? A basically pure resistance ring, halfway decent pair of boots, and a tri-res glove with extremely low life, and a very good belt. So you could get more life here, you can get more life here, and I mean, just the tough part for me was really balancing the resistances, because I don't have a chest piece. This doesn't have resistance, this doesn't have resistance, this doesn't have resistance, that's not chaos. So it was like, I was like, man, I had to get tri-res. It was extremely painful for me leveling up and stuff like that. But so let's look at the tree real quick. So we start off as a duelist, come down life, because we attack quickly enough with this character. 0.17 and 0.16. We really don't need all these attack speed nodes. But melee fizz, life. Master of the Arena, which they moved the 1% regen node to here, which I kind of like because they give you more start as a duelist. And then two-handed weapons, since Wings of Entropy does count as a two-handed weapons. Come down for the endurance charge. Get this whole life wheel in the regen cluster. The reason we're getting the 0.6 regen cluster is just so that we have the ability to regen more than we're degenning with Blood Rage, because Blood Rage is very much what makes this build special. Blood Rage in the block. Went over, you got duality, right? Attack speed and fizz, unwavering, to Berserking, more attack speed. Bravado, very nice cluster. It's got a nice buff. Physical weapon, crit chance. No, excuse me, not crit chance. Block chance. Over here, like I said, I struggled a lot with resistances, but these could get dropped if you had some extremely good gear. And that whole life cluster. And then we went over here, got leather and steel to ignore the movement penalties from anything else we were wearing. Acceleration is always a very nice node. This is just such a sick block cluster for dual wield. You could do dual wield and you could do just pure DPS, but your DPS is not going to be too much better than this unless you have some extremely GG rares. But to be able to do this and have nearly max fizz block is just fantastic. Frenzy charge, like I said before, because I am running Blood Rage. IR, because it synergizes very, very nicely with Unwavering. So everything is going to always hit me, but nothing is going to ever stun me. Right? If that makes sense. Also, because I was struggling with Ellie's, these are 3 nodes you maybe could drop. Move and attack speed, because I got the life, because I deemed it more point efficient to go up this way and then go that way, because like going this way wouldn't have worked, going that way wouldn't have worked, so I had to go this way. Got finesse, Heart of Oak just for more regen. This 1% regen here, that's what really allowed me to run Blood Rage without degenning. Dual, and then I got this just for the block, basically. And then over here, for Herbalism, very nice little cluster here. And I ended up with the Frenzy charge right here. So, I mean, the Duelist, not the Duelist, excuse me, the Ranger side of the tree is pretty much dead for me. If I had 2 more points, where would I go? Probably here. Just because, I mean, if you look at my mana, I have almost no regen, and if that got a little faster, that'd make me feel a lot better. This is a level 82 character, 83. If I played it until 95 or 90, right, where else would I go? Probably here. Fizz and maximum life. I would probably go there, because that would help me on 2 fronts at once. I think at this point, stacking armor or coming over here and getting armor, I don't think that would really be worth it for me. Going all the way down here to get more life, I don't think that would work for me. I keep coming back to, I think this cluster would be best. I mean, if you want to go pure life, you can go over here, go snag, get all that stuff, that'd be nice. I mean, maybe that's not a bad decision, as I'm only 1 point away from getting into that cluster. Because as you can see from my gem setup, do not even have reduced mana on Hatred. I know, it's a bit of a shame, right? So that was another thing that I really struggled with on this character. This is my single target. No, this is my single target. This is my multi-target. So we have dual strike, multi-strike, melee fizz, faster attacks, mana leech, and added fire. And then multi-strike, dual strike, mana leech, melee splash. That's the only difference, is you just throw a melee splash in there, and then melee splash. And all that stuff is, of course, supported by melee fizz, faster attacks, and blind. So, single target, multi-target, 21k, 30k, right? That's with no frenzy charges, no nothing like that. You'll see when I do a map a little bit later on that it gets buffed up a bit. The links other than that were the CODT, Immortal Call, Warlord's Mark, that's in my gloves, and then I only have 4 more links, right? One's Blood Rage, and then my Leaf Slam for mobility, and then a Hatred. And, I mean, maybe you could run Leap Slams without a faster attacks, but I would rather have my Leap Slam be my, get out of jail button when stuff's about to come down, or I'm bled and I need to get away, but I can't run, or something like that. And it's like, I would rather have Leap Slam and faster attacks. I wish I had another couple of links, because then I'd probably do Herald of Ice as well, or Herald of Ash perhaps, and an Elemental Prolift gem, and then I would have this amount of same reserved mana, but I'd be doing more DPS and have more utility because of all that great stuff about the new Herald skills. But so probably non-optimized, but this is still a very, very powerful character, and I want to show you guys what it looks like in a map. So let's go pop one open here. Okay, so we activate Blood Rage, then we have 15 seconds. So let's go take a look. So right there we're at 5 frenzy charges. I could not open that chest. Very quick character. Very DPS character. He rarely crits. This is not a crit character. When he does, it's very powerful. So you see my charges are just all the time, they're going off. Because I get it on block, I get it on damage, and I haven't hit a potion, I haven't hit a granite, I haven't done anything yet. So you can see it's a pretty tanky character overall, considering the low amount of life and everything else. Right now I'm just using my multi-target over and over again. And it kind of keeps you pretty hyperactive, you know, which is mildly annoying. So that's all you're doing is just bouncing around over and over and over, but I mean, you can see my mana jumping around, jumping around, jumping around, right? It's because my AoE is 46 mana, so I can technically cast it 4 times before I'm completely out of mana. Inner Treasure. There's some wicked decent right there. Sedima's. Which is why I went Warlord's Mark and not increased duration on the Immortal Call, because I have a nice 3-second Immortal Call as it is. Which I think is enough to kill most mobs in the game that aren't like a big boss or something like that, and in that case, Immortal Call will probably just go off twice. And Herald Device. Yeah, so I was playing around with Herald Device. In maps with vulnerability or something like that, I would just take off the Hatred and just stick a Grace in there, right? So, with full charges, 24, 33. 0.15, 0.15. Very quickly attacking. Very hyperactive, bouncing around, not taking much damage. So, I mean, what does this guy want to do to me? Nothing. He's just one guy. Let's get like a few here. Yeah, here we go. Alright, guys. So, no potions yet. Pretty tanky. Is it amazingly tanky? No. But keep in mind, you're still dual wielding. This is, you know, 75 block is going to be the maximum amount you're going to get on any character. And 73 block with 55 spell block is pretty darn decent. So if I got my resistances sorted out, what else I could do is I could run a Rainbow Stride, which is a boot that gives you a bit of spell block, and that could put me up above 60, right towards 75. And if you could ever get max block in both categories and be above 20,000 AoE and 30,000 single target, that's a very good day for you. That character is pretty sick, right? Alright, so let's just, with all these guys going here, get a flask. Now this boss isn't one of the strongest guys, but you can see he rarely hits me. When he does hit me it hurts, but he rarely hits me. So, no potions here for the last little bit. Oh, I haven't even been using my frenzy charges. And I mean, when I'm attacking between all of my defense and everything else, I mean, you get a good amount of survivability. For a melee character, you are doing okay. So I do my multi-target most of the time just because it bounces around to a bunch of different guys, but I do hit Q every now and again to get my single target going off. That's why I like that faster attacks, man. was hoping it was going to be Vegan. I would love to fight Vegan with this. I created this character before Vegan was a thing.
Moment of your time.
Alright, what do you want, bro? Assassinate the target, keep a guard alive. They're the really weird missions for summoners and stuff like that, right? Because you can't always control what you're attacking. I think it's overall a kind of a poor mission design, but that's just me. Keep at least one guard alive. Alright. That huge amount of damage spike that I took was because of her, whatever her Vol skill is. It's like Vol summon everything in the world that also has minion instability, and I will explode on your face and kill you instantly. That's what that was. So that was a few of those guys all getting through the spell block all at once. This character is very much hardcore viable, but you just wouldn't play this character like this, like the way I'm doing, if you actually were doing hardcore. Because I'm just using this as an example to show off what the character can do, right? Because sooner or later, that 25%, that 50%, whatever it is, it's going to not show up and you're going to take the full damage. And other than that, your character almost has no armor, right? So what I didn't want to be doing is to be running around and I have a great time and this and that, and then I get stunned. Or this guy knocks me back, and I'm just sitting there taking damage. So I was like, no, I will go stunned. I've seen guys recently on Reddit and stuff like that make versions of this build where they say it has more survivability, and I'm sure mathematically, numerically it does. And what they do is they take Anders Guile, they take Acrobatics, they do all that stuff, and then they get all the life, and then they get all the damage, and then they also run blood charges, or frenzy charges with blood frenzy, and all this stuff. And it looks great, and it looks awesome, right? But they could be stunned. And if you could be stunned, you could be killed. And I just don't like being stunned in a melee build. I will rarely ever play any melee build where I'm not unwavering, just because I absolutely hate being stunned as a melee build. I will go out of my way to not do that. So if you had 30% chance to dodge and dodge for spell damage, and you were essentially immune to projectiles, yeah, that would help you out a lot. You'd be sitting there attacking, and then you go, oh, and maybe you had enough attack speed that it's like a millisecond, then it wouldn't even matter, right? But just for me, for my taste, for my flavor, I don't want to do it. That's just me. So Poops Edema's 4 energy shield. Really? Best shield ever. Okay. Spell damage. Well, you go to the vendor. So this is the character. For flasks, I have Cautious Eternal. Recovery went on low life, which you saw when I had a bunch of those big zombies with minion instability run at me, as well as I rolled some mana leech, because I cannot get enough mana leech with this character, just because I have no mana. And Dispelled Frozen Shield, 3 when I take a crit. Granite, I mean, these aren't well rolled granites either. What would be well rolled is increased increased armor, but removes bleed. I was using the speed flask just because it's fun to have 82% movement speed. And I rolled the bleed on it because there's nothing quite like having a bleed stack and hitting a speed potion and then bleeding through your life in half a second. So I was like, I'm just gonna nip this one in the bud right now and not die instantly. So this is the character. I built this character a long while ago. I don't even remember, maybe up to a year ago. It's been a good long while. I have no idea why I have a Cool Rain on a weapon swap. I have no clue. I have a Quality Herald. I thought that's pretty cool. So this was the character. In an ideal world, if you're going to sit down and block out a character, what you'd want to do is go Acrobatics, Evasion, right? Anders Guile. Just get those. Boom, boom, boom. Duck in here. Come down. Get all the rest of the nodes that I got. Skip out on that, right? and skip out on IR. And you probably go up this way instead of coming down this way, right? So it's like, it's the tree's not that different. And I'll include both here in the video, but that's an option. I do find going the Frenzy charges and going Blood Rage for Leech. So Blood Rage for Leech saves you a link, right? You get more Frenzy charges, which is more move speed, which is more attack speed. And I mean, essentially all you need is Blood Rage on a 1 link, because that's all it is. The rest of this stuff doesn't augment it in the slightest. I do struggle for links, and in an ideal scenario, this would have 80 life, right? And this would have Tri-Res, and then maybe I can drop this ring for more life ring, or maybe an unset ring, and then put my Blood Rage in there, and then I'd be able to put a reduced mana in here, and that type of stuff. But this is... I for the most part, I don't try to get my characters perfect. It's not what I'm looking to try to do in the game. You know, it's just, it's not something I find fun. I like my characters to have flaws. I like it to have the fingerprints of humanity printed upon them. So, you spell block from here, spell block from here, 10% additional chance to block while dual wielding, since this is considered dual wielding, then 15% chance from here, then the rest is from the tree. Right? You guys saw the block that we got, and I like this character a lot. So feel free to ask questions, leave comments below. I think it's a pretty powerful character for non-crit based. I think the character has a lot of utility. I think the character is also pretty tanky, being able to be basically completely immune to chaos res. Oh, I'm in normal. Those hideouts, they always trick you. So being able to chaos resistance positive 21%. Because I have some on there and some on here. So being able to essentially be immune to chaos damage, being able to leech through almost everything if you're not one-shot. To keep yourself from getting one-shot, you have Immortal Call, CODT. Warlord's Mark is just to keep the mana and the life leech up even more. And you have a good chunk to block spells. I think it's a pretty fantastic character. So I hope you guys think so as well. Feel free to leave questions and comments, and I'll leave the 2 links to both this tree and what I think would likely be if you were to sit down and really game plan it, would likely be an optimized tree. So anyway, I appreciate you guys stopping in, and I'll catch you later. See ya.